The gentleman yields back. I now recognize Ms. Stefanik for 5 minutes.
Oh, I love being able to respond to the novice from New York. First of all, thank you so much for stating the obvious that political lawfare is, in fact, election interference. That's what we're seeing with the sham Alvin Bragg trial. Thank you also to the novice freshman member for New York, highlighting that withholding military aid to an ally for a political purpose, just like Joe Biden is doing to Israel. Always grateful for you stepping in it. Mr. Costello, in your opening statement, you said that in the over 50 years serving as a lawyer, you, quote, have never seen the types of politically motivated cases that have been brought in this presidential election season. These political cases are being used as a weapon of war to damage, defeat, or impede political adversaries and their allies. Instead of political warfare, it is lawfare, a cancer upon our collective judicial system. I want to begin with Alvin Bragg's weaponized sham trial in New York. Isn't it true that in Alvin Bragg's campaign for Manhattan DA, Bragg specifically ran on going after President Donald Trump?
That is true.
Isn't it true that Bragg's predecessor, Cy Vance, declined to prosecute President Trump?
That is true.
And the FEC also did not prosecute President Trump.
That is true.
And the DOJ did not prosecute President Trump in this case.
The DOJ referring to the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District?
Correct.
Absolutely true.
And one of the reasons the Southern District of New York turned down this case was because the supposed star witness, according to Alvin Bragg, Michael Cohen, was totally, quote, unworthy of belief. Isn't that true?
Without a doubt.
This is the same Michael Cohen who pled guilty to 7 counts in an indictment that had absolutely nothing to do with President Trump and actually predated the first time he met President Trump, correct?
Absolutely true.
And in fact, this is the same Michael Cohen who perjured himself to Congress. Isn't that true?
Yes.
In fact, when called as a witness in this sham trial, Cohen was asked directly if he was honest during his testimony to Congress. He said no, admitting perjury. But it's not just Bragg's case that is a total sham and illegal political lawfare going after Joe Biden's top political opponent, Donald Trump. This rot goes deep all the way up to the top in the Oval Office. Because when Congress referred this admission of Cohen's perjury to Joe Biden's DOJ, isn't it true that the DOJ has refused to prosecute?
That is true.
Isn't it correct that Michael Colangelo, who was the 3rd highest ranking official in Biden's DOJ, was transferred to Bragg's office to run this weaponized prosecution of President Trump? Isn't that true?
Not only true, but it's unheard of.
Unheard of. It's a disgrace. Do you agree that this weaponization of lawfare goes straight to the top with the purpose of helping Joe Biden's failing presidential campaign?
The circumstantial evidence definitely supports that.
And the unconstitutional gag order on President Trump from New York Judge Merchant is unprecedented lawfare.
As far as I know, absolutely.
And let's go to the daughter of the judge. Isn't it true that she is raising millions of dollars off of this sham case?
Well, I have to say I've read that in the media. I don't know it of my own knowledge.
It is true.
Thank you.
One additional question. I want to talk about the rigged and unprecedented jury selection process. Isn't it true that Bragg's team asked the jurors if they followed Trump on social media?
Yes.
And isn't it true that they did not ask any of the potential jurors if they followed Biden on social media?
Or Michael Cohen.
Or Michael
Yes.
Cohen.
Yeah.
And isn't it true that 87% of the jurors said they voted for Joe Biden?
That's true.
Is this unprecedented and lawfare jury shopping?
Without a doubt.
Without a doubt. Political lawfare for the purpose of election interference to go after Donald Trump. Do you agree?
Totally.
This is one of the reasons that Trump's polls continue to skyrocket, and it's why President Trump will win in 2024 to end the illegal and warped weaponization of the justice system, because if they can illegally go after Trump, they can go after anyone. I yield back.
Generally yields back.
The Manhattan hush money trial, where former President Donald Trump faces charges related to alleged campaign finance violations, has ignited a firestorm of controversy. At the heart of this maelstrom is Representative Elise Stefanik, a staunch Trump ally and a vocal critic of the prosecution. Stefanik denounces the trial as a politically motivated witch hunt, orchestrated to undermine Trump's chances of reclaiming the presidency in 2024. She argues that the charges lack merit and stem from a deep-seated animus towards Trump within certain segments of the legal and political establishment. Stefanik points to the timing of the trial, just as the 2024 presidential race begins to heat up, as evidence of its political motivations. She contends that the prosecution's reliance on Michael Cohen, Trump's former personal attorney, exposes the weakness of their case. Stefanik's defense of Trump touches upon broader concerns about the politicization of the justice system. Central to Stefanik's argument is the assertion that Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg, a Democrat, is pursuing a personal vendetta against Trump. She points to Bragg's campaign promise to investigate and potentially prosecute Trump as evidence of his bias. Stefanik contends that Bragg's fixation on Trump, despite previous declinations to prosecute by the Department of Justice and the Federal Election Commission, reveals his true motives. Stefanik critiques Bragg's decision to bring charges based largely on the testimony of Michael Cohen, a figure she deems utterly untrustworthy. Cohen, who pleaded guilty to multiple felonies, including lying to Congress and campaign finance violations, has a long history of dishonesty and deceit, Stefanik argues. Adding fuel to the fire, Stefanik highlights the transfer of Michael Colangelo, a former senior Justice Department official, from the Biden administration to Bragg's office. This move, she suggests, raises serious questions about potential collusion between the DOJ and Bragg's office. The alleged collusion between the Department of Justice and the Manhattan District Attorney's Office, Stefanik argues, is a blatant attempt to tip the scales against Trump. The transfer of Michael Colangelo, a high-ranking DOJ official, to Bragg's team is painted as a clear sign of coordination between the two entities. This alleged collaboration, in Stefanik's view, is a blatant attempt to use the power of the federal government to influence a state-level prosecution. The jury selection process, Stefanik argues, has been similarly tainted by bias. The focus on potential jurors' social media activity and their views on Trump, she posits, reveals a concerted effort to assemble a jury hostile to the former president. Adding to the litany of injustices, Stefanik points to the gag order imposed on Trump, which restricts his ability to publicly comment on the case. This gag order, she argues, is a blatant violation of his First Amendment right to free speech. Stefanik also raises concerns about the judge presiding over the case, highlighting allegations of potential conflicts of interest. Stefanik's defense of Trump transcends the specifics of the hush money case, serving as a dire warning about the perceived weaponization of the justice system for political ends. She argues that the trial sets a dangerous precedent, demonstrating how easily the legal system can be manipulated to target political opponents and stifle dissent. Despite the gravity of the charges and the potential political fallout, Stefanik remains confident that the trial will ultimately backfire on Trump's opponents. She predicts that the prosecution will only serve to bolster Trump's support among his base, portraying him as a victim of a political witch hunt. This persecution narrative, Stefanik believes, will galvanize his supporters and propel him to victory in the 2024 presidential election. Stefanik's unwavering support for Trump underscores the deep partisan divisions that continue to plague American politics. The outcome of the trial and its impact on Trump's political future remain uncertain, but one thing is clear: